Well, time now to check in with two members of the Parliamentary Press Gallery. Tonda MacCharles is a national political reporter for the Toronto Star, and Bob Fife is the Parliamentary Bureau Chief for the Globe and Mail. Both of you, welcome. We have just heard from Patrick Brown speaking about the accusations which are continuing to fly in the federal Conservative leadership campaign. I want to ask you just briefly, both of you, what do you make of the race to date, and what are you watching for?
It's nasty, and it's going to get nastier, I'd say. Look, those kinds of accusations are meant to paint the other camp as untrustworthy and not fit for leadership. And so I think that's the kind of narrative you'll see all the camps try to build through the summer.
Okay, Bob, what do you make of it?
Well, I think Patrick Brown has a lot more trouble because of the City Council has just put out a statement this afternoon talking about the fact that he never shows up for meetings and that he's disclosed information on a radio program that could put the city of Brampton in financial difficulties. So he's got the Polyev and everybody attacking him, but he's also got serious problems with his own city council. So this is going to get Tonda says, a lot nastier.
Okay, let's talk about the other big event this week, and that was the affordability speech by Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland. It was touted as the big speech. This was going to make a difference. Politically, how's it all playing out? Tonda.
Look, I think there was a lot less there than met the eye, and I think that Freeland, the finance minister, is trying to basically build a better narrative on the budgets that they've already done, but even their governing partners in the supply agreement that gives stability to this parliament doesn't think that they're doing the right thing and that they are really tackling this issue. So I expect it to still be a huge political challenge for them in the months ahead. To the Liberals, I suppose, a great relief. Parliament will soon be rising, so it won't be a daily hammer. But even their NDP partners are saying, this is not enough. It's not enough at this time. Those measures were conceived and put forward a few months ago. The picture is rapidly changing.
Bob, what do you make of it? Obviously, her doing the speech and Liberals framing it before it was given as a major policy announcement on affordability, and yet it's not really received the success that was expected.
Well, no. Look, the speech fell flat because they were trying to spin it as something significantly new, and it wasn't. All of the new money had already been in the previous budgets. More importantly, the business community, some of the things she's been talking about, that she talked about in her speech, the business community has been asking her to do for a number of years, which is to practice fiscal restraint and do something about our low productivity, which is absolutely essential. But in terms of helping people in their daily lives, there was nothing like you could have made perhaps a shortcut in the GST to help people through this inflationary times. Nothing like that to help people who are struggling for groceries and gasoline and all that sort of stuff. So, this was one of the things that the Liberals are pretty good at spinning. But in the end, I think it was not a very successful speech, and they're going to have a long, hard summer and fall ahead of them, because this inflation is not going to go down anytime soon.
That brings up the question then, and sort of getting back to the original point, but Tonda, do you think this was a miscalculation to spin this as a major policy announcement? They obviously thought that they had to try and get out ahead of it, because to date they've been saying we don't have to defend our record, we already have plenty on the plate. I mean, could this have actually backfired and created expectations and created frustrations?
I mean, possibly. The thing is, look, political critics and rivals always have, I guess, a motivation to attack something on those grounds. And maybe it is true that now that this money, I guess this $8.9 billion will start flowing, maybe some people will feel some relief. But I think that the government has to be careful when they talk a good game and don't walk the talk. In this case, to me, Chrystia Freeland came to the Toronto Star's Ed Board today, and she defended the budget as both spending and on targeted measures and as a fiscally restrained budget, and kept sort of referring back to the various measures that show that the ratings agencies have a great deal of comfort with where Canada's at. Mm-hmm. But look, she herself is not ruling out additional measures.
Okay.
We still don't know what those will be. So I think they're very acutely aware this is going to be an ongoing challenge.
Okay, well, that sets up the last question to Bob on just that. As Tonda mentioned, the finance minister did say we are in a difficult time, in an unpredictable time, almost leaving the door open for possible other measures. How vulnerable is the government on this? Tonda referred to it. I mean, the NDP is not very happy. They don't feel the government's doing enough immediately in concrete, immediate measures. How vulnerable is the government, and might we see new measures in a few months?
Well, it's very possible, given the volatility in the global economy, whether it's Ukraine and energy prices or these rapidly escalating inflation, that the government is going to have to come back in an economic statement with sort of a mini budget. I wouldn't rule that out. In terms of whether this government survives much longer, I think it's on two things: is whether if Mr. Poilievre wins the Conservative leadership, and it's very possible Liberals could go a lot earlier than the 3-year period of time that they're talking about with the NDP. But I can't see the NDP pulling their support for the government at this particular point. They're in bed with these guys until at least 2 years.
Okay.
I think the NDP has a vested interest also in seeing some of the so-called, concessions they got from the Liberals actually being implemented. They want to see free dental care for low-income families.
Yeah.
They want other supports for housing. So I think Bob's right there. I don't think they're ready to pull the plug anytime soon.
Okay, well, on that note, I want to thank both of you for sharing your thoughts. Obviously, always interesting as we approach the dying days of this spring sitting. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Martin. Have a good weekend, you guys.